Democracy Investments is looking for places to invest in democracies, but also helping other countries become more democratic. And with me is the CEO, Julie Kane, to talk about the mission of this. And I want to just start a little bit because you're a naval, or were a naval pilot. Tell me about that. Like, what was that experience like?
So I began my career in the Navy as an SH-3 pilot. So I got to do combat search and rescue exercises in the Philippines and flew the Navy SEALs around, pulled some Marines out of the jungle. So very early in life, I witnessed firsthand what it's like to be in a less democratic country. And I think that shaped and that drives our mission for me and my partners. Yeah. We're all very passionate about democracy.
And to what you're doing today. So, I mean, for those of us who haven't, been in non-democratic states, I mean, what did you see? Like, what were things that we maybe take for granted here in the U.S.?
Oh, everything from healthcare to education to just basic dignity and civil liberties. I could go on and on. Freedom of speech, free and fair elections. At the time I was there, they were worried about a coup, and so we were exerting our influence to make sure that didn't happen.
So I think it's really interesting you launched during the pandemic, because I feel like a lot of people were like, what is going on here? Like, they felt like for the first time maybe what it was like to lose a democracy or to have authoritarian rules and things like that.
Absolutely.
So what led you to launch this? And did you see those kinds of things happening?
So we were watching the flow of capital into the passive international index funds, and many of the international indices have been pressured to allocate more and more and more to authoritarian states over the years. And so we wanted to come up with a simple strategy to undo that and help the capital flow more towards democracies. So countries who care about free and fair elections, freedom of speech, enforce the contracts and property rights, and care about civil liberties. So that was the drive behind it. Now, it just happened to be during COVID when we could pull everything together.
Okay. So you had this process started even before the pandemic?
We were thinking about it before, yeah.
Okay. And it does feel like some of the more authoritarian countries have gotten more investment money lately. I mean, I know China's gotten a lot lately. Vietnam, which I've been to and loved, but they've been getting a lot of growth as well. How do you see the global democratic picture right now?
Well, sadly, it's in decline. Democracy's on the defense. The Economist does a great job of publishing country democracy scores every year. And in 2021, it was one of the worst years ever, with over half of the world's population not living in a democracy. So the trends continue to get worse. I mean, we are completely honored to be partnered with them. We have a license to use those country scores in our strategy.
I see.
And there are 60 different indicators for every country in the world. We're just following the ones that are in developed and emerging markets. Our strategy is mostly developed markets.
Interesting. Well, I was going to ask about your parameters. So you get them from The Economist. And then, but you also will put money into an authoritarian country. Right. And what's the strategy behind that?
So we don't screen any country out that's a developed market or emerging market. We just neutrally reweight their tilt in the portfolio according to the security's country of risk. So we're merging an all-world ex-US index, 2,800 international equities, large cap, mid cap, and we're merging that with the Economist Democracy Index, the country score. So unlike the other huge international index products out there, like over $1 trillion following these products, they are, I would say, overly allocated to authoritarian states. We're trying to undo that so investors can get some international exposure while supporting democracy, and given everything we've seen going on in the world, less risk, less volatility.
Yeah. So, and that's really it seems like there's with the democratic states, you've got a rule of law, and things are more transparent, or
exactly.
At least ideally.
Yes.
So those are the kind of things that you look for that really have lead to a thriving economy.
Exactly. And again, we're relying on the economists to make, because they've I mean, all those academics, very, very robust process every year, deciding what the country score is.
And you mentioned that I tweeted about The Economist.
Yes, I love that.
Is doing a podcast on Xi Jinping.
Yes, the prince.
Yes, and it's excellent. And it even goes back to how he's growing up and some of his philosophies about government, and how I feel like everybody should listen to that. It is
I'm so
extremely
glad.
well done. So, I mean, you like The Economist, and you also think that they're providing a lot of intelligence, for people globally to know what's going on.
I completely agree with you, and thank you for tweeting that. And I do think everyone should listen to that podcast series. Yes, I'm a huge fan of The Economist. They're supportive of our strategy, so we're super excited to have the license with them for financial products globally.
Yeah. No, I would say anybody who can. I think you might have to be a subscriber, but it's really, really well done and great. So, Julie, great to meet you, and I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you.
Because I feel like once you've lost a democracy, it's really, really hard, if not impossible, to get it back. So,
yeah,
we need to protect what we have.
Agreed. These are very interesting times. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.